Good morning, Kings. It's 5 a.m. I'm up since 3:30 a.m. King o'clock. It's leg day. I'm in my lair. And today I want to talk to you about 3 substances that are prevalent in today's society. You're all familiar with them. And if you're not tactical about using them, they can cause significant damage and even death. Okay, guys? So let me break the 3 of them down for you. Caffeine, grass, and alcohol. Okay? So first, let me talk about caffeine. Caffeine, when used correctly, in small amounts, can be very beneficial. Very beneficial. It can promote wakefulness, promote focus. It has a positive effect on your insulin profile. It has antioxidants, polyphenols. It has a lot of good benefits. And when you use it tactically, for example, before a workout or before a business meeting or something like that, it can enhance your experience. But there is a flip side to caffeine, and I'm going to talk about that. You know it's serious when I have the black book. Okay, guys. The most amount of caffeine that any man should have, in my opinion, is 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day, or the equivalent of that in caffeine. Any more, and you're going to start seeing negative side effects on your health. So you need to remember, caffeine is a potent vasoconstrictor. Let me explain. Vasoconstriction is when all the blood vessels and veins and arteries tighten up. Okay? So, to varying degrees depending on the intake of said substance. For example, nose candy is the most powerful vasoconstrictor, and that's why it's so detrimental to one's heart. Now, caffeine is a much milder vasoconstrictor, and as the dose goes up, so does the vasoconstriction. Think logically. You're going to the gym. You want to have a little bit of caffeine to get you focused, give you that energy, wake you up a little bit. When you're in the gym, you're trying to get as much blood into the muscle as possible to create a pump, to feed the muscle with nutrients. This happens when blood is pumped into the working muscle. This blood, along with the nutrients that you're consuming during training or that you may have eaten before, circulates in the muscle and provides it with food and fuel for growth and performance. Now, pre-workouts, for example, loaded with toxic amounts of caffeine. In my opinion, they're a terrible idea for 2 reasons. 1, there's so much caffeine in these pre-workouts that you're entering into a dangerous level of vasoconstriction, where it's going to have a negative impact on your heart, not only your performance and your muscle gain, due to the high level of vasoconstriction limiting the blood flow. Taking a very high amount of caffeine before training is stupid. Secondly, sometimes, guys, your body needs to back off a bit. You might find yourself outside the gym and you don't know if you're able to give it 110%. And that's normal. If you buy a car and you take it out onto a never-ending stretch of road and you put the foot flat on the accelerator all day, every day, you tell me, how long will that car last? Not very long. eventually the engine's gonna tank. Your body's similar. Sometimes your central nervous system, your muscles, whatever happening in your life, that might lead to you having to have a less intense workout. And I see guys, instead of listening to their body and their mind and their subconscious mind and saying, okay, today I'll go to the gym, I won't train to failure. I'll do high reps. I'll do a more cardio-based workout. I'll do a more form-focused workout. I'll work on my techniques. I'll try out some new exercises. Instead of doing that, they take the dumb approach. They take 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 scoop of pre-workout. And then they're in the gym and they're giving it 10,000%. But guess what? Their body doesn't have that. It's a fake stimulation. And that's not healthy. Okay, guys? Also, too much caffeine on a regular basis is going to flood your body with stress hormones, such as cortisol. Now, a little bit of cortisol is healthy, but the amount you get when you're abusing caffeine is far from healthy. It will cause you to be fat, especially around the stomach. It will cause you to be watery. It will cause your mood to fluctuate throughout the day, and it will give you anxiety. So when it comes to caffeine, less is more. 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day, always before 1 p.m. so it doesn't affect your sleep. No more. Or the equivalent in whatever form you would like to take it, such as a tablet or a half of a scoop of pre-workout. That's plenty. Okay, dudes. Next. Grass. Grass. It's only becoming more prevalent as the government start to realize that 1, they can capitalize on it and make massive profits, and 2, that it keeps people passive. It makes them very subservient. Have you ever had an argument with someone that's high? You're going to win. You're going to win. Guys, I've made content about this before. Weed womanizes a man in so many ways. For one, it lowers your testosterone. This is proven in multiple studies. I'm not here to give it the large one and explain all that. Search it. Weed lowers testosterone. Look at all the studies through multiple pathways. Specifically, it lowers LH, luteic hormone, and GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, 2 hormones that are responsible for the production of sperm and testosterone. Now, if they're being lowered by grass abuse, you're going to have a low testosterone base. And that's a fact. Also, how grass womanizes a man. You need to remember, like I always say, use your mind correctly. Think for yourself. Don't listen to what other people say or tell you. Come to your own conclusions. Guys, grass, you're smoking the feminine plant. There's a male marijuana plant and there's a female marijuana plant. What one are you smoking? The female. The female marijuana plant is the plant that is harvested to be smoked with THC that gets you high. What more proof do you need that weed abuse will womanize you? Grass will also, over time, when abused, lower your metabolic rate. Again, do your research. Look it up. Marijuana lowers thyroid production. Grass abuse lowers the production of T3 and T4 and FSH from the thyroid gland. Now, kings, If you're thinking, what the hell is that man saying? I'm going to briefly explain. Your thyroid gland is responsible for your metabolism. The amount of fuel you burn on a daily basis that your engine ticks over. For example, your 2,500 calories or 3,000 calories, depending on your size, your thyroid regulates this process. It has been shown in multiple studies that grass abuse will lower these hormones over time. So, even when you're sitting at home high, the amount of fuel you're ticking over is lowered. You're now down to about 2,000 calories a day. Like a woman. And it's a double-edged sword. Not only is the grass abuse lowering your metabolism, but you're in your mother's kitchen with a bag of Doritos. You have the munchies. You're dipping it into peanut butter. Nom, 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 nom. Staring into space like a little weirdo. It's not a good combination, kings. Don't abuse grass. Now, we all have to live a little. These substances were put on earth for a reason. So, if you are going to indulge in grass, I recommend, and I'm being generous, 4 to 5 times a year. Max. That's one time every quarter, plus one extra little time because I'm a nice guy. Okay, guys? That's plenty. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I'll indulge. I like the different perspective it gives me. It lowers my ego. It gives me an outside look in on my own life. But I don't like that all the time. I like it every now and then. Personally, 2 or 3 times a year. With good company or on my own. And that's all I have to say about grass and how it can turn a man into a woman. Last but not least, guys, alcohol. It needs no introduction. Guys, alcohol can literally kill you in a matter of hours. I've worked for most of my young adult life up until recently as a nightclub bouncer. I know what you're thinking. Typical. Ha ha. But let me tell you, at least every week, once a week, I would see somebody make extremely bad decisions that had extremely bad consequences in their life, all because they had too much alcohol. Sometimes it took 1 second. They smash a glass into a guy's face. Usually they'd never do it. Next of all, they're in prison. They sleep with someone and their partner finds out. Next of all, they're back in their mammy's house, single. They get knocked down by a bus. Guys, I've seen it all. They slip and fall and crack their head open and they're left with brain damage. They take drugs that they wouldn't usually take because their inhibitions are out the window. I could go on and on about alcohol, guys. And let me tell you, if you're drinking alcohol on a weekly basis, you are a fool. Why are you doing that? That is so dumb. You need to cop on and wake the up. Stop that now. Like I said, there's a time and a place. So what I recommend, kings, at most, is 1 to 2 nice drinks, a whiskey on the rocks, some cocktails, 1 to 2, with your girlfriend, with your wife, with your buddies at a game. 1 to 2 drinks max. Once you go over 2 drinks, you're getting into shark-infested water, and you'll get eaten alive. Once you go past 2 drinks, the inhibitions go out the window. Your decision-making is banjaxed. Next of all, you're in the toilet cubicle with your 3 new best life partners talking about businesses that you're never going to ever set up, declaring how much you love each other on that stuff. Then you wake up and for 7 days, you're a miserable woman. Don't do it, guys. Alcohol, it's hard to avoid it in our society. So if you're going to indulge, 1 to 2 drinks 4 to 5 times a year. Like I said, I'm being generous. That gives you 1 indulgence every quarter and 1 left over for a special occasion. Guys, I've made these mistakes in my life and I'm trying to advise you not to make the same ones. I hope this information finds you well. Kings, kill it, smash it, rip it. Do things that nobody else does to get things that nobody else has. Peace, guys.